Good afternoon, everyone. This is Professor Hill. It's a short video for our class, Introduction to Ethics Philosophy 2306 here at St. Philip's College. This is the Summer 1 term, and today's Friday, June the 11th, 2021. And this is a short video for our class. And I just wanted to touch base. Last night, the introductions were all due. Again, this is just our first week. But we've also got coming up Sunday night at midnight, the deadline for our first essay. And it turns out that some folks have already read chapter 1 in the textbook, written their essays, and have dropped it into the discussion. So some folks are already ahead of the game. Still got plenty of time. And you do want to make sure to read chapter 1 first and incorporate some of the concepts, definitions, interesting ideas. I don't like to specify exactly which ones. If there's something that you found interesting, I want that to spark your interest and curiosity and bring that into your essay. So that's a choice you have. But you'll see that as we go along, sometimes the field gets narrower and narrower. By the time we get, chapter 2, there's really only 3 concepts that are kicked around and discussed in the chapter. There's really 4. We'll come back to that in a little bit, but it turns out that the chapter says 3 things, and then at the very beginning he says 4 things, and then he only talks about 3 things. Yeah, there's a story there. Anyway, it turns out that for this weekend, we're worried about the Jenny Lake case, the first essay, that being turned in on Sunday night. The last 2 days I've been talking about Jenny Lake, the decision her mom makes. I compared it yesterday to the case of Cassandra Callender, which was a little different. And in fact, I just had a good exchange with one of the students about the fact that I had said in the video yesterday that I thought that the pregnancy was the only big difference. And one of the students kind of pushed back on that a little bit and said, well, their odds of surviving were also different. And that led to a really nice exchange about the fact that she's right, and that the rates of survival, the type of cancer you have, that all goes into the decision. And I guess it just underscored the fact that part of what makes this complex is that these decisions are multifactorial, meaning there's just a lot of different factors that you have to weigh and balance. And when you're doing that, sometimes people are going to give different weights to different factors. So it's not a simple thing, is what I've been saying since the beginning of the week. And so I do want you to think about it. We are going to talk about some simple cases later, because ethics isn't all about the big, complex, difficult medical ethics cases. You got to remember the decision when you go to H-E-B and you shop and you take the cart out and you put the groceries in your car, and then some people return the shopping cart to the little shopping cart corral like, you're supposed to. And some people just leave it right in the middle of the parking lot. Now, that's a little thing, but it's not a legal thing, right? You're not required by law to return that cart. But it's probably the right thing to do. And it's a little thing. So we're going to talk about big things and little things. Right now, we're talking about Jenny Lake and the sad story there. So keep thinking about it, and keep thinking about it in light of chapter 1 and the concept. And again, sometimes it's just about the basic things like, what's ethics? Ethics is the philosophical study of morality. Well, then what's morality? And the morality is our beliefs about good and bad, right and wrong, kind of our fundamental values about these things. Well, ethics, what we're going to explore over the next couple of weeks, is about where those beliefs come from. The beliefs about right and wrong, good and bad. Where do they come from? How do they get inculcated in us as children from our parents, from our school teachers, from our religious leaders, from, grandma and coaches. There's lots of people that are out there trying to shape and form kids and tell them what's the right thing to do or what's the bad thing not to do. And I can tell you that as a parent, I'm very concerned about that, because I know that there are other people out there that are fighting me on this with a different set of values and a different set of beliefs about what's right and wrong, good and bad. So it's a constant process of education, and like I said, a kind of inculcation of values, instilling them in young people, and watching them change over time as adults. As we grow and learn and develop, we have an ongoing process of our values, sometimes maintaining consistency and constancy over time, which is not a bad thing. Also, sometimes shifting and changing, given new information, new circumstances, new understandings of society and ourselves. Also not a bad thing. So it gets tricky, and it doesn't get any better as you get older. It's still complicated. But we'll talk some more about that tomorrow. Tomorrow, Saturday, I want to do a longer piece about the international piece. You'll notice in the module, and take a look at that if you get a chance, this thing about how values, how morality is fundamentally different from one culture to the next, from one society or country to the next. These things can be quite different. So look at the material in the module, and then tomorrow during my short video, I'll also talk about that and go through some of that then. Anyway, until then, I hope you have a good day. Like I said, Friday the 11th, I hope you have a good Friday night. And keep reading, keep writing, and get into that discussion on the Canvas page. Take care. I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye-bye.